Hi, folks. All right, so there's a big news coming from China's national news, and looks like China's starting to crack down on foreign NGOs manipulating things in China. And what they're basically saying is they're trying to crack down on foreign NGOs that targets civil society. So, if you ever want to hear a good uh, PR story on China, there's this guy I used to work for. I'm not going to repeat his name because I'm certain he wouldn't want his name listed on this channel, even though I've upgraded the quality of it several thousand times. Um, he went to China on a business trip. It was his first or second time there. He had done nothing wrong. He was a wealthy businessman in the area. And he basically brought up an engineering company from scratch, a startup, if you will. It's a testing research company, different devices, different parts of vehicles, other things of that sort. And anyways, folks, he went over to China, and not the first time, but the second time and the third time, it was discovered that to one degree or another, China's, I don't know who the police were, but basically were, from what I understand, inside his apartment or condo when he showed up at the at his apartment, at his condo or whatever. And they were not very nice. They did not like what he was doing for one reason or another. And what he had actually tried to do was get his business up and running. Well, they wanted to remind him where he was. He was not in the United States anymore. Um, the understanding was that they tore apart his apartment, supposedly did something along the lines of strip searched him, looked for guns, drugs, the whole thing, and said if there's any reason he is in China for misconduct, they were going to throw him off the balcony. So I guess there was some kind of a balcony situation. Now, this is an old guy, probably 60s by now. I don't know if this happened 10 years ago or if it happened recently or anything, but this was his major experience in China. Basically, a warning: do not fuck in our backyard, or do not fuck up in our backyard, and everything will be good. If want to do shady shit, we will be back. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, he's not running an NGO, he's running an LLC or something like that. China's parliament is considering a new law that would require foreign charities and other non-government organizations, NGOs, to be supervised by its police force. So holy shit. So they've actually gone communist on it. The Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, NPC, began its third review of a draft of law last week. So they actually review things not once, not twice, not three times, but multiple times. And if passed, the law would extend restrictions on civil society and rights groups to cover those incorporated overseas amid ongoing crackdown of activities under the administration of President Xi Jinping. The NPC already passed the Charities law on March 16th, which will bar Chinese NGOs from raising funds without government approval, on pain of criminal investigation. Well, investigation isn't much, but I imagine in China they, sit you down and beat the hell out of you. So we've all heard of Xi Jinping's move to power and why he wants to basically control everything. So basically, folks, this is the major situation. And how this really works will be up to the law and how it's actually implemented. A Chinese rights lawyer, Yang Zhengxing, agreed, saying Xi's administration is about to launch a cleanup of foreign groups operating in China. Of course, the lawyer would agree with Xi Jinping. If he doesn't, his not only his law license gone, but he's probably going to walk in on his family getting, XYZ as well. So the very idea that he is going to be, you know, um, party faithful, if you will, is more and more congruent with everything else going on. So China cracking down on foreign NGOs manipulating society, and basically the idea is, you know, we want to monitor you, we want to find out what you're doing, and if we do not agree, the police are already involved. And how do they want to involve them? They want the police force to basically sit in on the actual business, the actual charities. They're not under investigation. The police are already there. They're waiting for an accounting issue. They're waiting for a shady fund to come through. They're waiting for any number of things. And then they want their handout they get. And then once they get that, then no doubt they got to pay a dozen other people. So this is what's going on in China, and I guarantee it's going on in the U.S., folks. Thank you. I'm just trying to shut this down. Oh, I had it. There we go. All right, guys. Thanks.